Hi, welcome to Control Talk Now for the week ending August 30th, 2015. My name is Eric Stromquist. I am joined by Axel Banks Stromquist. He's making his first Control Talk Now debut, and we're both here to welcome the man, the myth, the legend, the one, the only, Kenny Smyers. He's Uncle Ken to you from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Kenny, welcome to the show, big dog.
Thank you very much, Eric. It's great to be here, and hey, Axel B., how you doing? You don't know me yet, but you will. And, yeah, he'll be taking this over.
He's ready to go, man. I tell you, he's rocking and rolling here, Kenny. He's having a good time. Look at the camera, Axel B. I tell you what, he's checking out. He's got his babysitter here, and Axel's quite the ladies' man. So, Kenny, I hate to tell you, but you're falling second fiddle to Miss Sarah over here. So he's kind of checking her out, got the hat on. Say goodbye to the Control Trends community, Axel B. Say goodbye to Uncle Ken. All right, buddy, here you go.
Axel.
There you go, Sarah. So, Kenny, how's your week been, buddy?
Oh, it's been great. I had a birthday week. Thank you
right.
to my wife and Rita. She took care of me. My daughters were very generous, and it was just a great week. Weather's gorgeous here. Can't be better. How about you down there in Atlanta?
Well, first of all, let me say happy birthday to you, buddy. Really happy for you. And
muchas gracias.
It's a rainy day in Georgia down here, my man. It is pouring in. They got that hurricane that's, I guess, off the coast of Florida, so I think we're picking up some residue from that. And but anyway, it's all good. We're rocking and rolling, and another big week on Control Test. We got a couple of guests this week, so that's going to be fun when we get to that segment, huh?
Sure will be. Your studio looks like it's getting bigger. Is that a lighting system back there I see?
Yeah,
to your right?
We got some lights. As a matter of fact, I got to turn the light on. I forgot, Kenny. Hang on.
Alrighty.
All right. There you go. Now you can see me better, man.
Cool.
But, so Axel B., man, he turned 4 months old yesterday. He's going to be a whopper stomper. The Rooney is already talking to him about coming up and protecting Ben Roethlisberger there.
I like it, but listen, no matter what they try to do, don't make him into a lineman. He plays tight end or fullback. No line.
I tell you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he needs to play golf or tennis is what I'm thinking, or learn to play guitar.
I like that.
I tell you what, dude, he's a little ladies' man. I tell you, he loves his babysitter. He flirts with her. You could see it, man. I mean, we tried to get him on camera. He gets to meet Uncle Ken for I guess the third time, but gets to see you live. And what's he doing? He's checking the babysitter out, man. I'll tell you what.
I love it. Good job, Axel.
All right, big dog. Well, we had a big week this week, so let's hit our first post.
Okay, Eric, our first post is Thermocon's newest products released in 902 megahertz, the in-ocean frequency for North America. And this is a major announcement from David Alabama was very excited about this, and he was he believes that the 902 megahertz in ocean is going to solve a lot of those issues and concerns where a lot of the people that show me style that the wireless hasn't really evolved to be a secure, a reliable mode, and this 902 megahertz in ocean protocol is or wireless network is a it just has the advantages of the cost savings due to energy harvesting, producing energy from sensor environment, flexibility with sensor location, reduction of fire load, no need for wires, easy integration to existing buildings, no wiring. You take it from the wireless in ocean to your controller and then onto a backnet network. High-end designs, direct mounting to all services, and compatibility with other manufacturers with the international standard IEC 15432-3-10. But they're really excited about the room sensor. This is a really cool-looking, modern, European-style room sensor designed for temperature and humidity detection. It has a set-point adjustment fan speed, so it's a multi-application thermostat. And then the small actuator for radio-controlled, battery-powered radiator valve actuators. And this is the new style that is going to replace maybe those Danfoss, the Makins, Honeywell Brockman back in the old days where you just had your hot water and you had the little self-op on there. Now this is going to be brought into a wireless environment that you can actually control. So in our area, like dormitories, students leave in the morning, they leave their windows open, turn the heat on to the max, they go home for the weekend. The school was kind of defenseless because they couldn't go into the rooms, they couldn't control the temperature. Now you can. So enormous energy savings possibilities for universities and high schools and office buildings that used hydronic heating. And the last one is the application bidirectional gateway for in-ocean-based sensors and actuators as well as controllers. And this is your BACnet IP interface configuration commissioning. And they're really, really happy because this is an addition to their EasySense product portfolio that is already, a large combination of wireless but also hardwired sensors. So don't forget that Thermocon provides many super products for any application regarding temperature, humidity, and pressure.
Well, yeah, let's unpack some of that, Kenny, because you said a mouthful right there, buddy. And Thermocon is, first of all, they're based out of Germany, right? And our friend David Alabama, he's from England, cool guy. But I think these guys, are they the largest in-ocean manufacturer on the planet? If not, they got to be close to it. I mean, this is right in their bailiwick, so they make really cool in-ocean products. So for our listeners out there and viewers who might not know what in-ocean is, it's essentially a wireless type platform that allows you to, most of them are self-powered, right, Kenny? They either pick up the light, so you don't have to run power wires to them, right? Or the switch correct. Action. So, I mean, again, Thermocon is like at the top of the heap regarding that. And the second thing you just said, let's talk a little bit more about that wireless valve, radiator valve for the dormitories. I think we're really on to something with that. That sounds phenomenal. Any chance you think we get David Alabama to come on the show and talk about that product?
Yeah, David's coming into Pittsburgh, and he travels all over the United States, and so he's just amazingly busy. But he's really excited about having the opportunity to do the presentation. So we'll probably do a Skype interview.
That could be a game changer. That ought to be probably get nominated for a Control Trends Awards, I'm guessing.
Well, last year they shared the category for wireless controller or wireless device, energy savings and wireless with Viconics.
Yeah. So good stuff. Well, really happy for our friends at Thermocon. Be sure to check those guys out.
All right, Eric. Next up, we have Control Trends Event Information Calendar Update, and we're doing our best to keep track of all the important meetings and events and training, anything that's to do with the HVAC industry. We're trying to rally up that into one central location so that you can see. Next up, we have the EasyIO Partner Event coming up September 20th through the 22nd in Paris. We have the Honeywell Buildings Insight, the Momentum meeting that's going to be in Desert Springs, California, September 20th through the 22nd. We have ASIS International. That's a security conference coming up in Anaheim, California, September, and the list goes on.
Well, yeah, let's not forget Link Springs got their partners event, so does KMC. Kenny's doing a great job of putting all those together so that you can just go to one spot and keep posted. So Kenny, really applaud the effort you're putting in on that. And I guess Kenny, if you have an event, you want to make sure it gets on the Control Trends calendar. Is there a good email address to forward that to you, Kenny, or just the controltrends@gmail.com?
Yeah, controltrends@gmail.com.
Yeah, and we'll make sure we get it posted on Kenny's event calendar. And I love that, baby, because you're keeping it up every week. You're adding to it. But yeah, the fall is going to be very, very busy. And Belimo's got their Platinum Distributor meeting in October as well. So lots going on this fall.
It is, and you're right. Link Springs coming up in October 26th to the 28th. When is KMC's event?
KMC's, I think, the end of September. I don't have that off the top of my head, but we'll put it in the show notes. We'll make sure it's in the show notes for our folks.
All right,
hey,
sounds good.
Kenny, tell us about our first guest.
Love to, Eric. Our first guest is the one and only Luis Malgares from Neptronic. Luis is the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Neptronic. Welcome to the show, Luis.
Hey, welcome to the show, Luis. Glad to have you.
Luis, we had an interesting rendezvous here in Western Pennsylvania. Why don't you tell our Control Trends listeners what you were doing and where you were at?
Well, actually, we're here to support a local integrator that actually has purchased our products. He had some questions with regards on how to integrate it properly, so we're here to help him out. That's part of the philosophy that Neptronic has.
Right, that was a web's station, so it was a WebAX with a bunch of backnet controllers, and you helped with the fine-tuning of the network integration.
That's right, that's right. And since Neptronic's products are very easy to integrate, especially on the Tritium platform or any of the peripherals that are using Tritium, just a question of making sure that the customer would feel more comfortable with it.
Luis, I mean, Neptronics is on the move, a whole new generation of products. Tell our listeners about the new product lineup.
Well, one of the reasons behind why we actually have decided to migrate is because we had some hardware requirements that had changed with time from the original design. We also had some other consideration on the software. So we basically decided to upgrade most of our products, which basically are the VAV and the fan coil, in order to add more features, more interesting features for system integrators.
Luis, that's good stuff, and then we're anxious to see that in person and in applications. But I know you're really, really, really excited about a new thermostat. Tell us about the new thermostat from Neptronic.
Yeah, well, very soon we're going to be releasing our new generation of thermostat. It's called a TUC TUC, and this one is actually a universal controller for unit applications. So therefore, you'll be able to control with the same thermostat a rooftop unit or a fan coil or a heat pump system. All that networkable on BACnet with one single thermostat.
When's that going to be available?
We're planning on launching it probably, I would say, mid-October. So you're definitely going to be seeing it at the AHR in Orlando.
Awesome.
Very, very cool, Luis. And well, speaking of thermostats, you guys still selling those 24K thermostats?
Well, actually we do. It's still a very popular item, and we're still selling a lot of those. This year we've been very fortunate. A lot of them still out there. So if ever Eric, you're ready to sell one to Mr. Your friend there, Mr. Trump, go ahead, by all means.
All right, man. You know, you're sort of becoming known as one of the hardest working men in show business, the control show business. Where are you heading next? What's next on your agenda?
Well, as far as traveling, we're going to be running around, obviously, taking care of our local customers here in the U.S., and we're also planning a nice little trip to Mexico at the AHR show in Guadalajara.
Thanks so much for being on the show.
My pleasure, guys. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
All righty, Luis. Thank you.
What do we have up next, Kenny?
All right, next up we have an Enocean post from RIBS, Functional Devices, a gentleman named John Huber. And as you said, I didn't mean to go over the Enocean so fast, but yeah, basically it's self-powering wireless control. So it does not need electricity or batteries to power it up. It uses a piezo-resistive technology or one of those little power generators, or it uses the ambient energy. The coolest radiator valve controls is that there are ones that have it generates power, the difference in temperature of the media, the steam or hot water, and the ambient temperature, and some technology is able to convert that into power. So yes, it's really neat. And Functional Devices is in the game. Now that, I don't think there's many people involved in the HVAC or building automation world that has not used RIBs in one way or another. They came up with some sensational fix-its, like if you didn't have enough points and all of a sudden you need to tie in one more lawn point or one more backnet point, they have relays that they connect to the network, give you that single point. So it's actually of amazing proportions for the right application. But this is basically, they're saying about wireless as a rage in today's building automation and smart buildings control systems. And to get the most out of your wireless system, you need reliable wireless components like the EN3, which is another product that gives you just the ability to, it's in Ocean too, so it gives you the energy harvesting of wireless technology used in building automations. These modules combine the technology, combining micro energy converters with ultra low powered electronics. And now that wireless is such an important aspect to the building management market, Functional Devices has come up with several RIB products. So it's a great post. Have you met John Huber yet?
I haven't met him, but I know Huey Huichin, who is the big guy over there at Functional. And you're right, man. These guys are so innovative, Kenny. I mean, from the RIB relay on through. And this Enocean relay is not their first foray into Enocean. It's actually an improvement on a prior Enocean relay. But I think, if you put it in perspective for our listeners out there who are maintenance chiefs or whatever, or even design engineers, the great thing about what Kenny's saying is that if you have an office complex or a commercial real estate property, as those things get reconfigured, you don't have to rewire the sensors. You can just Velcro them to the back of whatever the wall is. So this gives the building owner the ultimate flexibility in terms of being able to get, monitor temperatures, humidities, pressures. They pretty much do anything wirelessly. So it's good stuff. And you couple that with, what Thermocon's doing, and this is not pie in the sky stuff anymore, Kenny. It's proven technology that more and more people are utilizing. I know you handle both Thermocon and Enocean at DMS Controls Group. So do we at Stromquist and Company. Most of our brethren at Controls Group North America handle both these products as well. So they're readily accessible and they work. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, we used Functional Devices many times with lighting controls. They do the ability to half light, where you can hit it the first time, half the lights come on, and hit it again, and the full lights come on. And they actually have another device with 3. So you get 3 times, and they're very popular, like with churches, auditoriums, areas where you have big space, and So it's a great solution.
Well, and speaking of lighting, a special shout out to our friends at Blue Ridge Technologies, Bill Dunkelberger and his crew. Definitely check those guys out. They really integrate very well to building automation control systems. They really focus on that. Bill is an ex-ALC guy, so he really understands the nuances of bringing those into building automation control systems. So BlueRidgeTechnologies.com. Check those guys out. And, of course, WattStopper's got some great products, too. Our friend Brian Pike with his Bullet, and he's over at WattStopper doing the same thing. So it seems like one of the things, Kay, that we're hearing from everybody is that the lighting probably needs to come back into the section in the spec that the BAS control systems are under.
Well, that's what our friend from England helped me out.
Mike Salvador Dali Welch.
Yeah, Mike. He was at the last year at the Collaboratory, Ken St. Clair's Collaboratory, and he was saying how you just have to be determined. You cannot accept no for an answer. We've got to do everything we can to make sure we have seamless integration. Is to make sure those specs put things where they belong, and he's doing his best. To change it, to add the lighting integration into the BMS section, so that there's no possibility of having a silo be put in on a separate protocol or a unique protocol that's not compatible. But I think the lighting manufacturers are really getting it. They're starting to realize that they're not going to dominate and express their will over the building owners and over the integrators. They're going to have to be more play friendly, play nice.
Well, I think the thing too that Mike Welch is a big proponent of is that there's so much vogue about LED lighting. When I spoke at that Atlanta Better Business Challenge about a week or so ago, I mean, had a bunch of lighting people. Everybody is selling LED lighting. And Mike, and Mike, if you're listening, I've got this wrong, please correct me. But I think Mike is saying, hey, using the Dolly protocol with your existing BAS system, you can get so much more out of your existing lights that actually financially that probably makes a lot more sense than LEDs. So hope we can get Mike back on the show. I hadn't heard from him in a while and would love to catch up with him.
Yeah, he's got a great product too. The Dolly lighting is very, very, very big in Europe, and it's migrating into the American markets. But building too. In other words, you don't get locked into a fixed location and fixed control. In other words, one of the amazing things with the Dolly thing is that no matter what happens as you change tenants or whatever, you're not losing control over the lighting or making a permanent mistake.
Absolutely. What do we have up next, Big Dog?
The next post is another very important post coming from the Tritium Niagara 4 crossover training promotional video. We all know that Tritium provides world-class technical training for the Niagara community, and this is just kind of it's a video that kind of shows how this is a really basic decision to make. It has an interesting cover picture. It has a guy thinking about money and time, and the truth of the matter is that this training is going to help sustain your business model. This is going to improve it and update it. Because, as we all know, AX is going to transition into Niagara 4. Niagara 4 requires some bridge training. The bridge training has been made exceptionally accessible through remote training on the computer. It's two parts. It'll be like a learning part, and then there'll be an actual station configuration part. And the video does a good job explaining why this is a necessary decision for people in the AX or the Niagara community. And just another story about the training offerings are flexible. We offer classroom training at the state-of-art facility in Richmond. We also provide training at regional offices throughout North America, Europe, and Asia. It's a good post. And hats off to Jenny Graves and all the folks there at the Tritium, because that Niagara 4 site is really sharp.
Well, it really is. And again, kudos to Jenny Graves, Ed Merwin, and the rest of the team at Tritium. I think last week we talked on the show about our team had done their first Niagara 4 upgrade, went really, really well. We had debated a lot about, wondered a lot about, how they were going to get people updated and trained. And I think the bridge training, from what our folks are telling us, looked like it's going to be a great option. So it seems like Niagara 4 is here, dialed in. The beta tests are going well. So congratulations to the team at Niagara, Nino DeCosmo and the rest of the crew there.
Well, it's a prodigious effort. I mean, I always we know how, from our own businesses, how much work involved. They make it look easy, because it's a tremendous effort. There's so much to prepare for. There's so many different platforms that they got to regard, whether it's Java, whether it's Microsoft. I mean, there's just the browsers. There's so many things going. There's so many moving parts in this kind of a transition, and they've got to look at all those bases. And there's a lot of beta sites in progress, and I've heard just nothing but good things. We had one too, and it went well, it went smooth, and great support. Mike Westerfield's doing a great job making sure that they got this thing, all the bugs worked out, because this is ready for release here, I believe, next quarter. Very cool.
Tell us about our next guest.
Next guest is Vinayak Sain from Mumbai, India. He's an engineer with the SI Consultants and MD India, and we met Vinayak in Madrid last year at the EasyIO conference.
We did. He was part of that contingency, Kenny, that we met up with from India. You can see the interview on control trends. And Vinayak has agreed to come on as a consultant, one of our Indian consultants, and we're pleased to have him. So today we want to introduce you to Vinayak and give you a feel for what he's all about. So, hey, Vinayak, welcome to the show.
Hi, Eric and Ken. I'm fine. Things are good. I just came back from a meeting. Was waiting for your call. So that's it. I'm here.
All right, so Vinayak, tell us a little about how you got in the business and a little bit about your company.
Well, Enmaron is a new venture that I've started, basically for the BMS industry, whereby I started my company when we met last year during the Control Talk and EasyIO show. It was Enmark Engineers, which was my principal company, where we used to design BMS systems and entire ERP platform. Going forward, I found out that there are a lot of legacy systems happening in the market, and these legacy systems are not maintained and are looked after. So I thought, along with a few friends of mine, that we decided to get into the retrofit business as well as audits of the BMS and the fire alarm system. That's where the Enmaron has come up with. Well, SI is a firm which is a person known as Feraz Taponi, who is based in Dubai. And when we started doing that, he was looking out for a partner who could do into CCTV and access control system. And that's how we formed a company to do basically on the security systems, IT and AV solutions. But BMS also gets tag along. So we said the design engineering company always stays with SI Consulting Private Limited, whereas Enmark Engineers gets into the audits, principles, retrofits, new solutions, back-end solutions, like a center of excellence for other vendors to look into.
Great stuff, Vinayak. I can't wait to see that. We'll be seeing each other in about a month.
It's nice meeting up with you, and it's almost a year since we met last. We met in the Control Talk Show EasyIO show at Spain, and that's when we discussed about giving insight to what happens in India and the BMS industry in India for a long time. So look forward to meet you again in Paris during the September show. Bye.
Vinayak Sain, our correspondent in India. Vinayak, thanks so much.
Okay, Vinayak, great stuff. Can't wait to see you. See you in about a month. Alrighty, and to all the Control Trends community members, just realize that the India is trying to bring 100 smart cities online in a 4-year time period. They have the money, they have the budget. Now they're looking for the product platforms and open systems, open controllers, and Vinayak is going to keep us updated. So we look forward to additional posts and updates from Vinayak Sain from Mumbai, India.
Absolutely, Kenny. And then also, man, he'll be in Paris at the EasyIO conference. I think you can still get on board there if you want to. Check it out at easyio.com. Kenny and I'll be there with Mad Mike Marston and our friends from around the world. So we look forward to seeing you, Tommy Hodgeness. We look forward to seeing the rest of you guys. So we'll see you there. All right, Kenny, what do we have up next?
Well, the next one, again, Control Trends, top rung on the ladder of Control Trends is cybersecurity. This is the first of 2 posts from Fred Gordy. And this is a practical application for using Shodan. So what Fred's doing is he's providing some OJT to the internal champion. Now every organization is probably going to have a cybersecurity representative trained, and they're going to make sure that each organization has some effort made specifically for cybersecurity and the physical measures and the checklists and the before and after events. But he's saying, Fred actually goes through live examples on how to use Shodan search engine to list the manufacturers and their systems that are exposed on the internet. And he actually does. He shows you how you type in the query, whether it's the country, and then he shows you that the percent 3A means city, or it makes colon. That's the colon. So he does Atlanta, and then he does 3 examples. But the bottom line is the results of the various searches shows. First by group. Our first group is manufacturer. It's a total number for each in the United States in the top 5 cities. The second group is protocol. It lists the total number for each in the United States top 5 cities. And the last set is device type within the United States of the top 5 cities. And he makes no bones about it. He lists the ones for Train, JCI, Allerton, Schneider, Siemens, Automated Logic, BACnet, BIOS, SNMP, Bus, Telenet, FTP, PDU, and chillers. So you see, what the bad guys see, and that's your impetus and your motivation to reduce your exposure, because there's so much information that's out there that if you're not aware of it, then you're probably not taking the stringent measures you need to. And now that you know it's out there, you're going to take cybersecurity much more seriously. You're going to get your share of the budget, and you're going to apply the measures that Fred recommends to protect yourself against cyber attacks.
Yeah, we're really fortunate. Fred Gordy's here in Atlanta. We've talked about him. He's been on the show a couple of times. He'll be on some more. Has become a real friend of Control Trends. Fred worked for one of the biggest systems integrators here in Atlanta for a while. Very, very passionate about cybersecurity. Now works for a company called SmartCore, right? I think it's smartcore.com. And SmartCore is basically, they are the 800-pound gorilla when it comes to getting cybersecurity nailed down for your building automation control systems in your building. So Fred is a heck of a resource there. I talk about a guy who both understands building automation controls and has a great understanding of cybersecurity. So encourage you to reach out to Fred if you have any cybersecurity applications where you're looking for a real pro to touch base with on that. And also Fred and our friend Mark Peacock, who is another person that's really shining the spotlight on this issue from LinkSpring. I've gotten together with Stromquist and Company, DMS Controls Group, and some others. They're bringing a cybersecurity summit to Atlanta in March, and it's going to be cybersecurity for the building automation controls professional. So that cybersecurity is such a huge subject, but for the building automation controls professional, there's certain things you need to know so that you can secure up your portion of that network to make sure that nobody's coming through the BAS system. And Kenny, we need to get people to save the date on that. Do you have that off the top of your head, the date for that? It's March
21st through the 23rd. March 21st
through the 23rd. Yep. So mark your calendar there. It's going to be very, very reasonable price-wise. Atlanta's a great city to fly into, easy to get into and out of. It's going to be out at the Georgia Tech facility. Georgia Tech's got a whole department that goes through and hacks building automation control systems. So it's going to be pretty darn spectacular. So again, compliments to Fred Gordy and Mark Peacock for spearheading this and getting this going. So definitely mark your calendars.
Indeed, the Georgia Tech Research Institute, like you said, they're going to do a demo on hacking, actual hacking. It takes the voodoo out of it, and it shows you the concrete ways that are being done. How you do this first, and you do that. And all right, well, that takes us right into our next post, and that is another post by Fred Gordy says, if you're breached, then you may be facing 2 battles. And this, again, we thank Fred for bringing our attention to this and making this information so accessible. The hot links are there so that you can really and truly feel the pain here. This was a post that the Federal Appeals Court ruled that the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, can now sue a company that employs poor IT security practices. And this resulted from a lawsuit that the FTC filed against the Wyndham Worldwide Corporation, suffered 3 breaches and exposed consumer data from 2008 to 2009. So FTC Chairman Edith Ramirez wrote in a statement to ARS, today's Third Circuit Court of Appeals reaffirms FTC's authority to hold companies accountable for failing to safeguard consumer data. It is not only appropriate but critical that the FTC has the ability to take actions on behalf of consumers when companies fail to take reasonable steps to secure sensitive consumer information. And so what does this mean to the controls community? As Fred so starkly presents, the old school security through obscurity, we can no longer sit back and use excuses that that's the way it's been, the system was always like that, so what if somebody can turn off an air handler, big deal, or nobody cares about hacking a control system. Well, the hack occurs through the BAS system to customer data. Now we could have liability. people that are responsible for maintaining controls over the building management system could be liable to the FTC and consumers that had their information violated. So what Fred says is, as systems integrators, building owners and operators, vendors and manufacturers, we need to step up our operational technology security practices. IT and OT are converging, and every day the lines are becoming less obvious. So rightfully so, we have to shoulder our share of responsibility, or we could be in the crosshairs of the FTC as well.
Wow, Kenny. Well, I tell you, it's coming on, and probably after that Ashley Madison hack, they're all upset now about that. But I tell you, Kenny, it's interesting because I think a whole new industry is going to open up, and you and I have talked about it that we might be selling cybersecurity insurance for the BAS contractor before it's all said and done. But another thing I saw, Kenny, that was kind of interesting, you see these lawyers on TV all the time. Have you ever been in an accident or whatever call? You know what I'm talking about. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
So I saw an interesting one the other day. The first time I'd seen this. This gets back to Roger Rebenak's solution with the access and security and the cameras and stuff like that. Roger Rebenak is the security guy at Honeywell. And Honeywell is one of the few people that actually has a product that is from the same manufacturer that does both BAS controls and access and security control. But this lawyer was basically saying, hey, if you've been mugged or assaulted, you need to call me, because if the company did not have an adequate security system with cameras and a response in place, we're going to sue the hell out of them. So check that out, man. So there's I think the tip of the iceberg there, that if you're a real estate property owner, you better make sure that your cameras are working and you somehow are documenting the fact that you have a response for people that might be on your property and get mugged. So we live in a very litigious society, Kenny, and I think that building automation controls is finding its way sort of right in the middle of that.
Fortunately, the name of the game is to get as many parties involved in the suit. The litigation is much more successful when you have big pockets, medium-sized pockets, and small pockets. And the bad thing is that whoever has insurance is going to wind up paying for it. So they're going to force everyone to have it, so that can be spread out, that liability and risk, and the eventual payment for things that fail. I mean, things happen. We're all humans, and systems go down. We have all acts of God. We have hurricanes going on, like you said, down south right now. Lightning strikes. Things can happen. But I think what the intent of we were talking about cybersecurity is that you've got to take actions. To have no actions is the bad thing. So we'll see it develop where we're going to be involved in cybersecurity, because there always could be who else they can collect money from, because that's just, like you say, litigious.
So Kenny, how much money do you think gets spent in our country? And I read the statistics many years ago, and they probably changed, but they said that we have more lawyers per capita than any other country in the world. Most other countries have engineers. How much money are we spending just covering our asses from these damn lawyers? I know, I know that. I'll give you an example. One of my ex-wives, I had to sign on a lease for her when we were married, and I was no longer on a lease 10 years ago, right? She signed 2 more leases since then. She got in a big brouhaha, so there's a lawsuit going on. I had to hire an attorney to call her attorney, not her attorney, but to call the people who were suing her as attorney, saying, look, you had me on the lease and 2 lease signings. How could you do this? I go, we're just going to keep him on there because, you never know. You never know. And then the scary part about this was they sent me something in the mail. I wasn't going to respond to it. My lawyer tells me if you didn't respond to it, if we didn't show up and tell them that, they could just slap you with a couple $100,000 and you'd have to pay it.
I have two direct relatives that are lawyers right now, and they're not gonna like me if I. They
don't listen to you though, do they? The lawyers, they're only gonna listen to you if they think they can get some money out of it, right?
I think we started out here on a healthy note, and then we went south a little bit, but we can swing all the way around again. No, I agree. I lived in Germany 9 years total, and they're still working off Napoleonic Code instead of court. Judge-based law or court-based or jury-based, whatever our style is called, and we really and truly have gone into the sometimes it's worst case scenario. I mean, but you have to have the legal means to seek redress. And there's no question about it. But no, for people to make a living on just frivolous lawsuits or like there's the tactic where they sue you just for the hell of it. They don't have enough money to do something, so they start suing people and settle out of court because you just being involved in a lawsuit is going to cost you $5,000 for a retainer of a lawyer.
I'm telling you, yeah. It cost me a ton of money just to have an attorney respond to this thing that it shouldn't even be there. I mean, it's like just check the lease. I hadn't been on it. Check it. It's nuts. But anyway,
in Germany, for instance, you're not allowed to do that. And if you sue somebody, you have to put up the court costs in the event you don't win.
Yeah.
So you're much less likely to try to sue somebody if you have to pay for everything in advance.
Yeah.
You're going to take it very seriously, and So and then the settlements, they don't let settlements get out of hand. That's a lot of it's pretty much they have states in Germany too, just like we do. So they're different across each state, but they don't let things get out of hand. They seek justice, but not excessive remuneration. Because let's face it, the lawyers get paid on a percentage of the settlement. So the larger the settlement, the bigger the payday for them.
Yeah. And again, I think it's an unwritten code. It's like, well, let's just because if somebody sues you, then you got to hire a lawyer, which is good. And of course, then I think if you look at most of our politicians were lawyers, so. It's just, anyway, I digress, Kenny. Let's get back to controls.
You must have had a bad experience recently, huh?
I've had a bunch of bad experiences recently, and I tell you what, I'm over lawyers. God, I'm over lawyers, man,
Right.
It's nuts. All right, what do we have up next, Big Dog?
Well, it's our last post, and it's from SMC, Sierra Monitor. It's another great post by Varun Nagaraj. This came out August 27th, and it's a model to characterize IoT uses. And he talks about the IoT, again, from the users and also the OEM's perspectives. And this is part one of a two-part series, but it just says about industrial IoT devices, aka smart connected products, can deliver. And it's a really cool diagram of, at the base level, support service, monitoring upgrades, which is remote problem solving, smart truck rolls, and then also the next step up, other efficiencies, the analysis. So we see data analytics, we see where we can get greater building efficiency, automated safety, just elevator monitoring, just efficiencies, customizations, and logging. So that gives us operational improvements. Then you have the next step up is innovation analysis, which is preventing disruptive product issues, new feature, also disruptive technologies, products and performances, new features such as the Biotronic and Babolat. That's a racket manufacturer. We used to play with it in tennis. The new business models, tire as a service, and redefine markets like John Deere has done. And then the final step, optimization and integration, internal IT ecosystems, the who, why, and how. Now, I really enjoy this because this is from an OEM perspective where it says OEMs, we are suggesting that every OEM, to the furthest extent possible, look to establish their own secure connections to their products in the field. And that's part of the work on the vendors side of it to make the equipment and everything less vulnerable to cyber attacks, and also OEMs bundle such a secure remote access capability with their products. And the SMC, of course, is a proponent of that and does it. And then lastly, we recommend in step 2 that OEMs think carefully about selecting and pairing right cloud storage and analytic platforms to the cloud-based secure remote access capabilities they established in step 1. So another great post from Mr. Varun Nagaraj, who's the president and CEO of Sierra Monitor Corp.
Guys, good stuff there, Kenny. And I tell you what, I think we've got another one of his talks coming out. He's agreed to do 12 talks for the Control Trends community, educational talks. And this guy is he takes the complex, he makes it simple, very articulate. So looking forward to that. But again, really do appreciate the post that he put up, and check those guys out, SierraMonitor.com. Or is it just Sierra Corp?
Monitor.com. So
yeah,
www.sierramonitor.com.
All right, Kenny Smyers. Well, that seems like that's another week here at Control Talk now. So with that, I tell you what, a special thanks to our guest, Luis Margaras from Neptronic, and Vimyak Sane, our correspondent in India. We really appreciate those guys. So with that, have a great week, and remember, stay in control.
Indeed, Eric.
Indeed, Kenny Smart.